And I understand that you got to use the freight elevator, the service elevator, or the staircase going down. So everybody did, right?
I think so. What?
Right over here, these doors.
Oh, that, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
okay. So, just a reminder, there's 3 buttons in an elevator. The button that you want to push is button number 2. If you push button number 1, you're going to end up at the bottom of down at the bottom, and the back door of the elevator is going to open up, okay, and you're going to walk down a hallway down there, and you go, oh, this is not good. And we lose a lot of doses that way, so don't go down that hallway. So let's go inside here.
It's better to vent, you're going to be doing dishes.
All right. So what I'm not going to talk about, because you guys read that, you already know there's 300,000 rivets on the airplane. So what we're going to be talking about here today is basically the 5 dosage stations, the protocols and procedures for those on the airplane. I'm going to tell you how we got the plane, why we got the plane, how it got here, some questions that I get frequently asked, and probably a lot of other doses, so that you'll know those facts when people ask you about them also. Okay? So how did we get the plane? I mean, why did it come here to the library in the first place? President Reagan, when he was in basically the end of his term in office, he went to the Secretary of the Air Force, James McGovern, and he said, I would really like to have an Air Force One in my library to show the American people. McGovern says, well, the plane's still got a little bit more mileage, more years on it, actually about 12 more years before it would be released. But he says, you might be able to get it. But the other thing is the fact that President Reagan, out of 7 presidents that flew on the plane for 1.3 million miles for 445 Air Force missions, he flew half that, 661,000 for 211 official Air Force missions, visiting 26 countries and 200 cities. So he really had the most connection to the plane. Carter flew 86 missions on it, and George Bush, 43, only flew once on the airplane. That was it. 12 years later, in August of 2001, or first part of August 2001, the foundation gets a call from A.L. Roche, now the new Secretary of the Air Force, would you like to have the plane? Of course, they say, yeah, we want the plane. So in August, the end of August, George Bush, 43, flies 1 mission on the plane from Waco to San Antonio and back, and he's the last president to fly on the airplane. In September of 2001, the plane goes from Andrews Air Force Base, flies to San Bernardino to Norton Air Force Base, where it's decommissioned, and Mrs. Reagan's there to accept the plane on behalf of the foundation. Interesting enough, there's some people on that plane that are still here at this library today that flew on that historical flight. Duke Blackwell, NARWA, or head of NARWA here, Joanne Drake, Mrs. Reagan's personal secretary, and Frederick Ryan. Anybody know who he is? He's the chairman of the board of the Reagan Foundation. I'll show you a picture of him when we walk through. He was on that historic flight there. 2003, Boeing sets out a team of technicians to start disassembling the plane. On June, they start putting the pieces on trailers and bringing it out down here to the library. Interesting enough, where Tim is at right now, I want to point out one thing. The plane does not have the presidential seal on it. Colin Powell was about the last person to use the plane, so he was using it for his own diplomatic missions. So that's how it looked when it came here. They load it up on trucks, trailers, and they bring it up here to the library. I'll bring you guys this way. As they're doing the excavation over here, all the pieces are around here in the library. We're actually standing about right this position right here. This is where we're at right now. See the pieces over here? This is a great movie over here. It takes about 8 minutes for it to play. It's a great movie to show adults because a lot of times, you know, they want to take a little bit of a break. But remember, it takes 8 minutes. So if you're on a timed tour, you need to build that in to your tour. But it is a great movie to watch. Marine One shows up here at the library. They park it out here. When the foundation, the roof, and the sidewalls are up, they start towing it inside the building here. They lift it, they reassemble the plane, they lift it up on the pylons that are embedded in bedrock. Remember, this building is inside a 9.0 earthquake, and they start painting and polishing up the airplane here in the building. You can see it right here facing out. October, there's Mrs. Reagan, George Bush, Mrs. Bush, Frederick Ryan right here, Boone Pickett's. Why is he there? Because he basically paid for this whole structure over there. The oil man's got a lot of money. This is how the plane looked when it was opened up to the public. Interesting thing about Marine One, when it came here, it was basically on static display, and it was not until 2013 that it was actually opened up to take tours to it. They had to basically, a lot of fuel had leaked inside of it, so they had to really clean it all up and reupholster the plane.